She Leads is a 5-year advocacy consortium project which aims at achieving a sustainable influence of girls and young women in decision-making spaces at different levels. In Uganda, there are 3 alliance partners: Terre, Hommes Netherlands, Plan International, and Femnet, all working with the different local-based organizations to implement the project. Under Terre, Hommes Netherlands, which is the main lead alliance partner in Uganda, She Leads is implemented by 3 local-based organizations: Girl Up Initiative Uganda as its national level, and Kampala District Implementing Partner Multi-Community-Based Development Initiative based in Bugiri-Busoga region, and Karamoja Women Umbrella Organization based in Karamoja region in the districts of Napak and Moroto. She Leads is built on 3 major domains: the social norm domain, the CSO or Girls and Young Women-led domain, and the institutional or political domain. Under the social norm domain, the She Leads program looks at the opinion shapers of society, such as community leaders and the media, to achieve transformative gender norms that enable meaningful participation of girls and young women in decision-making. Under the CSO, or Girls and Young Women-led domain, She Leads looks at building that strong movement of girls and young women that can amplify their voices on issues that affect them and limit their participation in decision-making. All the above cannot be achieved without the political or institutional will. Under this domain, the project works with the different ministries such as Ministry of Gender and Labor Social Development, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Local Government, and key political and technical policymakers and implementers such as the Kampala Capital City Authority and the Line Parliamentary Fora, such as Uganda Parliamentary Forum for Youth Affairs, the Parliamentary Gender Committee, and the Uganda Women Parliamentary Association, to ensure that issues of girls and young women participation in decision-making are prioritized. By the end of 2022, She Leads will mark the end of its 2nd year of implementation in Uganda since its launch in 2021. As we close the year, the support from Terre, Hommes Netherlands, Girl Up Initiative Uganda organized a biannual reflection meeting for girls and young women and partners from Kampala, Bugiri, and Karamoja region to share and reflect on the best practices, project achievements, challenges, and recommendations to inform the implementation of the project in the years ahead. Here are some of the stories that girls and young women from the 3 regions have shared about the project. Atuhaire Mugasa Joan, a 21-year-old girl currently pursuing her bachelor's degree in community development and social justice at Chambogo University, is among the She Leads advocates. With a passion to fight for the rights of girls and young women, the program has not only enabled her realize this dream, but also grown her leadership skills.
I have always had the urge, and which is one of my character traits, of wanting to know and try out new things. And this is one of the aspects in life that has kept me going ever since my adolescent age. This is what led me to She Leads. And She Leads has enabled me to experience leadership, basing on the fact that I was the very first coordinator of our Nakawa Safe Space, and I am also the key leader for the skills sharing cluster of writing and poetry, where I have been able to take lead in some of the articles, for example, the mental health vis-a-vis gender equality, online poems like The Blossoming Flower. My writing and poetry had died out, but through She Leads it is rejuvenating, and I'm using it to speak out, give a voice to the voiceless, and also to break down the negative social norms that hinder the rights of girls and young women in societies. I look forward to taking up more bigger spaces at national and regional level. I look up to also taking up a public office where I'll be able to enhance these rights and also to implement policies that are in place, because through She Leads, I have been able to receive the best mentorship in my journey to pursue and experience more of my passion.
Another advocate of the She Leads, Katushawe Doreen, aged 23, from Bujiri district, was raised by a single mother whose source of income was through cultivation in other people's gardens. Doreen says she received vocational and business skills under the She Leads program, which saw her life change.
We could cultivate in people's farm to get money and what to eat. My mom, she was able to take me back to school in Kisoboka Vocational Skilling Institute. When I was in Kisoboka, I joined She Leads when I was acquiring my skills in hairdressing. I was trained how to start a business with a smaller capital through She Leads. I saw my life changing, and as now I am a woman chairperson in my village.
Born in the family of 9, Habene Betty from Bujiri cut her education short in Senior 4 to give an opportunity to her other siblings to attain some form of education, since her parents were unable to support all the 9 children in school.
Whereby community saw me as a grown-up person ready for marriage due to the fact that I had stopped education. So this created a great challenge to me. She Leads invited me for a training, and that day marked the change of my life. I got confident and self-esteem to rise up and fight for my rights and responsibilities. Through the empowerment and mentorship that I was given through Mokobadi, I was able to contest for Pan-African Girls Representative for She Leads Uganda, and I went through. This has created a great opportunity for me to advance the voices of my fellow girls and young women, right from local, district, national to the Pan-African level. And I'm continuing to influence the lives of my fellow girls and young women through empowering them to also rise up and challenge the negative social norms that affect them in my communities.
Ngabire Nadine, aged 22, is a forced migrant who saw no second chance as she was a neglect in the community. Ngabire says in She Leads, she found a happy family that changed her life.
Having been a forced migrant, this was the worst experience in my life. Because in the community I was in, I faced neglect. I was seen as a misfortune, to the extent that I wasn't appreciated. This left my life lonely, depressed, and my dreams unattended to. This is when She Leads came into my life, where I was welcomed, loved, and shown too much love. They selected me to represent my fellow girls and young women on different platforms. This also gave me a chance to work with the organization which deals in refugees. I really thank She Leads for the work done in my life, the improvement, and all the good things which I'm yet to become.
From Moroto district is Kine Florence, who at age 15 lost her parents and was left to provide for her 3 other siblings. Kine is among the chosen few in Karamoja that received mentorship and counseling under the She Leads program.
When my parents died, they left me with only 3 of my siblings, and life really became tough. So I started fetching water, and life wasn't really that easy. I happened to meet one of the sub-county chiefs in Moroto district, that is Nadunget sub-county. She told me that there were some girls who were needed in that training, and she also got that, she picked that interest, and she also went to attend that training. During that training, it happened that it was tackling more on the challenges being faced by a young girl. And her being one of them, she really picked interest, and she also learned more on how to engage in the program. After that training, she realized that she had the potential to also teach other young girls on the challenges faced by them. And due to the training, she also picked interest in conducting community awareness and also to find a way of reducing these challenges faced by young girls. In the process, she also happened to have been linked to some other organization where she was picked to be engaged in the Piggery project. Currently, she no longer fishes water, she focuses more on the project, and in this project, very many young girls were called upon, and most of them are now managing the project, and they are really grateful of the project.
Another She Leads champion, Millie Nantale, says her dreams were shattered after the death of her grandfather, who was her caretaker. In her testimony, Millie was isolated from those she called family, which forced her to start looking for small opportunities for money in Kampala City. Upon a tip-off by a friend about the She Leads training in Chisenyi, a Kampala suburb, Millie's life changed.
I got a friend of mine who invited me to attend a She Leads launch meeting at Chisenyi to girls who wanted to join Vocational Institute. I was one of those girls who were chosen for a course in the vocation where I studied hairdressing and cosmetics. I've always encouraged girls to take opportunities that come through the She Leads program.
Fortunate Tendo, a city born from Katwe, a Kampala suburb, tells us that she saw her mother struggle to provide for the family, having lost her father when she was 6 years. Together with colleagues, they received business training and vocational skills, and Tendo is now able to support her mother financially through selling liquid soap thanks to the She Leads program.
In this year, in May, I formed a girls group, of which this group linked me to the She Leads. When I joined She Leads, in one of the She Leads engagement, specifically a business training, I acquired a skill of making liquid soap. This tickled my desire and wish to support my mother financially. I therefore started making liquid soap. With the sales of liquid soap, I can financially help my mother thanks to She Leads. Through She Leads, I've still acquired skills of associating and relating with other people, and this has helped me a lot when it comes to marketing the liquid soap. I'm so grateful to She Leads, and I now tell my story to other girls and assure them that everything can be possible thanks to She Leads.
Esther Awaz, aged 20, from Napak district in Karamoja, is another blossoming flower. Esther, who lost both parents at the age of 13 years, tells us she had to resist an early marriage proposal by her grandmother. Later, Esther got support from the Office of the Prime Minister to study up to Senior 4 but got pregnant and did not continue. Esther and colleagues received business training under the She Leads program, which enabled her to start a grocery business.
Having lost both my parents, my grandmother wanted to marry me off to an old man at the age of 13. I managed to escape and I went back to our home. There I got a scholarship which took me from Senior 1 up to S4 last year. That was last year. After completing my Senior 4, I got pregnant. There life became very hard. No one could support me to further my studies. So the only decision, all I wanted was to go to the street of Nairobi to work for money. 2 days to go to Nairobi. The meeting was held in the Protestant church, our Anglican church. There I was referred by our sub-county official to attend the She Leads meeting, and my minds were changed. I used the money I had saved to use for going Nairobi, I used to open up my business. That was a grocery business. I'm very proud, and I thank She-Leads for giving me the knowledge. I'm a proud, empowered, and business lady, as well as a role model for the young children or young girls and women. And I'm ready, or I'm willing to go back to school next year to do a course, a nursing course, which shows my desire.
Another She-Leads advocate, Calvin Nalufunya, who hails from Kawempe, tells us she got fed up staying in a stressed and struggling family that was initially full of joy before her father started changing. Seeing her two brothers struggle with sickle cells forced her to get on the streets and look for money to help her four other siblings. Her turning point was when she joined the She-Leads program.
I dropped out of the education system into the business world to look out for money so that my brother would survive, so that my mom would be happy. Nevertheless, I started struggling, sleeping off with men to get money to support my family. My chance came in when She-Leads project was looking out for girls in our community of Kawempe, so I was chosen. And when I was chosen, we had a lot of engagements with She-Leads, but my time came in when we had a session about advocacy and life skills. In advocacy, that's where I got to discover myself. When I was leaving home, my dad wanted me to join army, but my passion was all about, I wanted to be a water engineer. I wanted to be a plumber, in quotes. So after studying the thing of self-care and self-love, I got to know that I have a right to decide on whatever that concerns my life. Because of my confidence, my dad allowed me to do my course of water engineering. So I'm very proud that I'm going to be the best female plumber in the country.
Mr. Paul Mudoba, a project manager working with multi-community-based development initiative in Bujiri district, says since its inception in 2021, the She-Leads journey has made strides in shaping girls and young women as role models in their communities.
We see them now taking up leadership positions out of that time when most of them were in the kitchens, but now they are coming out from the kitchen to now take up leadership positions. Some of them have been supported to really get employment opportunities. Some are now leaders who are talking on behalf of other girls and younger women who are vulnerable in their respective communities. And some of them are now role models to other girls and younger women as we continue pushing the cause to ensure that we involve the girls and the younger women are involved in key decision-making spaces within the spectrum.
Partners implementing the She-Leads program continue to engage with the girls and young women to amplify their voices and reclaim their rights in regional and national spaces, never to become victims of dominant gender norms that relegate them as second-class citizens.